guys, what's going on? It's TMJ in the USA, Season 2, Episode 17, Neva!
So here we are in Texas. This is after about 1.5 hours sleep, Moy.
This was our leanest night of sleep that we had the entire tour of the USA. So we actually got to bed. This was after the Dallas game. So after the Dallas game, went and chilled with Big J, had a bunch of work to do, actually stopped working at 3:30 in the AM, Nebosh.
Then fell asleep.
Had to be up at 5 in the AM. Joe actually got up at 4:30 to do half-hour HIIT cardio.
I got that extra half-hour sleep though. So here we are, as you can see, driving.
And then on the road by 6, mate.
On the road by 6. Our flight was at 8.
You know you're gonna have a bad time when you go to bed to have a good night's sleep and say, I'm gonna take an hour nap.
Yes. It's definitely not asleep.
Anyway, hit the streets of Dallas, man, on our way to the airport to get out of Dallas. And you'll see I overcompensate for being overtired by acting like a complete idiot.
We do that all the time, mate. So here we are walking into IHOP again for breakfast. So we had a quick stop on the way.
This was funny as well because this was the same IHOP that we had our last meal the night before.
So we walked in there about 6 o'clock because this was only like about 2 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
So we walked in there at 6 o'clock. We'd been there at 2 o'clock the night before.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, and we actually got served by the same waitress who worked the night shift. And we walked in, she looked at us and she was like, weren't you guys just here?
And we ordered exactly the same thing as we'd ordered 4 hours ago.
Oh man, that was a funny time at IHOP. Anyway, had ourselves some breakfast, man. No surprises there. Chicken fajita omelette with the egg whites and the chicken and the tomatoes.
You got
tomatoes.
You didn't have your chicken fajita. You did the Neve special omelette.
I did, with just the egg whites, chicken, and tomatoes.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Tomatoes.
Very simple.
And then hit the streets of Dallas, man, on our way to the airport to get the out of Texas. And I gotta say, Nevos, I was scared driving the streets of Dallas, Texas in pitch black. I know. Without a gun.
I just want to say, for in Texas, for being the is it the second biggest airport in America?
Fort Worth?
Yeah.
I don't think so, but it's one of the biggest.
But it's pretty big because the international flights either go, like to Australia, either go out of Texas, don't they?
Yeah,
or New York.
You can fly, no, international flights.
I mean LA or Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
But for an international flight or whatever it is.
Hold on. Hold on. The plane hasn't taken off. Neve already asleep.
Well, an hour and a half sleep, mate.
The guy sitting next to you is a man in his 60s or 70s. He deserves to be asleep before the plane takes off. You're 25 years old. What the fuck?
This is when I'd thrown up before, remember? I'd just thrown up my banana.
Oh, man. Anyway, you were saying about airports.
Yeah, it was the biggest, like...
disappointment,
and also the oldest airport. And walking from like the gate through to the plane, we had to walk about 500 meters down some tunnel thing just to get to the plane.
Yeah, that was a big airwalk.
It was not fun. Anyway,
got ourselves out of Dallas, Texas, and right here, about to touch ourselves down in Washington D.C. Nevosh.
Wasn't this the flight?
Not that you would know, because you slept the whole flight.
I fell asleep from the time we took off to the time we landed. Wasn't the dude behind you snoring as well?
No, that was a different flight. That was a different flight. Or maybe that was this flight. I can't remember. Anyway, look at the luscious greenness
of Washington.
In Washington.
It was that. It was
unbelievable. Well, it's actually Virginia. It was Washington Dulles Airport.
Dulles.
And Dulles is actually in. We went from Dallas to Dulles.
Do you know? I didn't actually say this to you, but I thought for like 2 days you actually thought we were in the wrong place because you kept saying Dulles.
Yeah.
Like we're going to the Dulles shopping centre
with the Australian accent.
I thought you were talking about us being in Dallas.
Dallas. You were confused, man.
Oh, I was.
Anyway, speaking of airports, this is this was probably the sexiest airport of the entire tour. Would you go so far as to say?
And the most Washington is the most security-fied place I've ever seen.
Oh, isn't it? Guys walking around, full SWAT gear, machine guns hanging off them like they're going out of fashion.
This one was pretty cool. Like it's got all the tiles lit up with the lights, lighted up tiles.
Yeah.
You even had to catch a train to go from the gates through to the baggage terminal. As you can see there. See the gates and the little the train inside the little glass tube.
Yeah. And then we finally got ourselves on and off that train. We had to stop for a meal, mate.
It was delicious.
What did we have? I think this was Chipotle.
Yeah, chicken steak and rice I had.
Well, I had chicken, steak and greens. And, of course, got myself some aminos. I believe that there with the Purest Labs Amino D, mate.
It was, there you go.
It was. Blue raspberry.
In the blue raspberry.
Delicious.
I think that was just about the last scoop as well.
Yeah, it was. That was the last time we had Amino D. One of my personal favourite all-day essential amino acid supplements.
Just Sept no longer had the D on the American trip.
Yeah, this was the last time we had the D on the tour.
Yes. A minute of silence was had over lunch.
And I had myself chicken and greens, I believe.
That's a lot.
This was part of my... I was carb depleting at this point.
You were?
For the physique show.
God,
so it was just protein and greens.
I look like death.
Boom! Chevy Tahoe in the house.
This is probably the coolest car we had on the whole trip.
And I got to say, big shout out to my executive assistant Millie, who organised all of our flights, accommodation and cars, because she did a perfect job. Would you go so far as to say, Nivosh?
Millie,
in particular with the vehicles, the modes of transportation we had in the USA, mate.
Millie Millist definitely was the illest.
And then we're getting checked into our hotel in Dulles, Virginia, once again. Big ups to Mills for booking us into this delicious accommodation facility.
And probably the most delicious meals we had the whole time was at Longhorn Steakhouse.
Yeah, Longhorn Steakhouse is the tits, man.
Which is where we actually ate with the Hodge twins last year.
Yeah, it was too. Yeah, and we were going to eat with the Hodge twins there this year as well. But we'll address that in the next episode.
We will, yeah.
Anyway, this was our pre-workout meal, man. So Longhorn Steakhouse at Dulles Shopping Centre.
Dulles Town Centre.
Dulles, whatever they call it, man. Somewhere in Virginia where there's a Longhorn Steakhouse. Had ourselves a pre-workout meal before we headed on out to go crush some f***ing delts at the Cheesecake at LA Fitness.
Yeah, the Cheesecake.
I wanted to go to the Cheesecake Factory.
America has, especially in the Dulles Town Centre, like the lolly shop. I think we get a picture of that in the next episode, so I'm kind of a bit premature once again.
Yeah.
And the Cheesecake Factory.
Standard Nevos.
Just everything. Just everything, mate. LA Fitness was pretty cool as well because we rocked in there, had a bit of a chat to the...
yeah, give them a shout. Shout them out.
Yeah, we're going to give them a shout because I don't know who they think we were, but they actually gave us free membership.
Free pass for the entire time we were there, man.
Which is pretty cool.
So rolled on into LA Fitness, man. Had to hit ourselves some deltoids.
Oh, and also asked us to set up a taste testing.
They did. Yeah. And asked us for autographs. Unbelievable.
I think the autograph might have just been on the membership form, but it was still an autograph nonetheless.
Still an autograph. Started this workout off with a rear delt superset Nivosh.
Nivosh is looking like he's lost a few kilos on this trip, hasn't he?
I was about to say, Nivosh. Mate, digestive system hasn't been working too well. Because you've been eating like a f***ing animal.
Oh, jeez.
It obviously hasn't been getting into the bloodstream, you know what I'm saying?
It's just going straight through me.
And I got to say, man, I'm a big fan of LA Fitness. They get a bad rap from people in the US, but their gyms are second to none.
In terms of the variety of equipment?
The equipment, the facilities, the cleanliness.
If you put it this way, just imagine the equipment inside not a fitness gym, not a fitness center, inside like just a purpose-built bodybuilding gym.
Yeah.
Everyone would be going on bloody sucking LA Fitness's. They'd be happy. They'd be very happy.
Then we moved on to some lateral delt raises, man. Hitting those side delts, trying to work on that nice V-taper, getting them broad shoulders coming in, man.
It was pretty different because there were two side raises very similar next to each other, though.
Well, the similar movements, but actually quite different movements. And you'll see here, we did a bunch of supersets this workout, man. We felt like pumping the intensity up a little bit. So this is kind of leaning forward and hit, you know, very much an isolation movement for the medial delts, for the lateral delts. And then went and supersetted where you flip around, you actually face away from the machine. And this actually hit a little bit more medial and front delt.
Yeah.
So good way to superset, because once you pre-exhaust those medial delts with that strict isolation, move on to this with the front delts to help push them bitches up, push blood in them bitches.
Because especially with you being so carb depleted, we didn't do a whole lot of pressing movements. We did a lot of just isolation, just a lot of side, as you'd see.
Well, but generally as well, man, and we say this in all of our in the gym.
This was a cool shoulder press as well, though.
You know, we don't really do too many shoulder presses, generally speaking. Because we both have overactive front delts. But we couldn't go past this particular shoulder press machine. Very unique.
It was very different. I've never actually seen it before.
It was kind of, you know how most shoulder press machines, you're seated like you would normally be like sitting. This one you were like lying back and you pushed back.
Yeah.
Big fan.
It was very good. And it absolutely hit no front delt whatsoever.
No front delt.
I mean, all front delt, but no...
I was going to say, what are you talking about?
But there's no pain, is what I'm trying to say.
Nah, yeah, painless exercise. And then we moved on to a superset, these seated dumbbell lateral raises, and we supersetted these bitches with a standing barbell upright rows knee wash. So working on them traps, mate.
Once again, no pressing except for that other movement. Just a lot of volume. As you can see, we did 3 supersets.
Yeah. And
only one exercise, which is one pressing movement.
Yeah, and the reason why we did that, viewers at home that are wondering, man, and obviously this comes back to my carb deplete week, or peak week, whatever you want to call it. Whenever you're trying to carb deplete and deplete glycogen stores, you want to up the volume in your workouts because that's what's going to tap into those glycogen stores, man. So you got to do your 15 to 20 reps. You got to do 25% more volume. So, you know, if you're doing 3 to 4 sets, you do 4 to 6 sets per exercise. Throw a few more exercises in there. Hit some poses while you're at it, man.
Especially if we're just doing, say, dumbbell shoulder press. And
pop them deltoids.
And then barbell shoulder press. We might only do, say, like 3 sets of 8 reps, and then you rest them for like 2 minutes in between. You're not really going to be tapping into that glycogen like you're wanting to, mate.
And that's the whole point of carb deplete, man. To reduce those glycogen stores, get them down so that when you carb load, man, your body can store more glycogen, make you look swole as
This was pretty cool in a lot of the gyms in America. They actually have a lot of designated shrug machines.
Yeah.
Which is something you don't really see here in Australia.
Well, that's why Americans generally have bigger traps than Australians.
Yeah, we'll put it down to that.
Would you agree? Australians, small traps. Americans got growth coming out their necks.
Just because of the single machine that they have at the gym.
That's it. And then we finished our workout off with some post-workout cardio. Decided not to do elliptical because they had a step mill / Stairmaster in his bitch. And I'm a big fan of the Stairmaster.
I just want to say, that much of a fan that we're back in Adelaide at the moment. Don't want to say too quietly. But back in Adelaide, I am in charge of our eBay account. I may have noticed that somebody's actually been searching for a Stairmaster to buy at home.
Oh, really? Who would that have been?
I don't know.
I was just interested to see how expensive they were. I'm not going to say, they're fucking expensive as shit, man.
Recent searches was a Stairmaster.
I'm like, I'm going to go find myself a staircase and climb that bitch.
A lot cheaper. Just set off the fire alarm and just run up and down the stairwell.
And then we finished our workout quite late once again. The only place that was open in Virginia was IHOP.
Oh.
So where did we end up?
By this stage, we were sick of IHOP.
Yeah, and that's a big statement for you, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, you had your, what do we have? Chicken fajita omelets. You had wholemeal pancakes. I had egg whites.
Yeah, omelette and pancakes.
We had coffee. We had some post-workout sups. We didn't forget to get our nutrition in, did we, Nivosh?
We didn't, but we had a... don't worry about it.
Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay up to date with all the latest editions of TMJ in the USA, where we coming to and from, Nivosh.
The way to fuck us over. MassiveJoes.com.
Stay massive.